join us a little later in the program, we'll look ahead to homecoming, which is coming up. And, Coach, it is homecoming weekend this weekend. And before we even talk about the football game, that's pretty cool with the Hall of Fame breakfast and all of the former players coming back.
Certainly my favorite week, game of the year, favorite week of the year, with rope pull and all the tradition that goes with that, pyramid on Friday nights, election of the homecoming queen. I mean, you and I've talked about this over the years. You'd say, does this distract you guys? No, we
because, and here's why. Because we had a coach that sat in that seat right there the very first year, and I said, Coach, it's a distraction. Go ahead.
And but we don't. Once the players get over in the building at 2:30, and then we practice and stuff. I mean, they don't. They're not out of our sight till 6:30, and they're back to study hall. So they don't have a whole lot of time to enjoy it. But you want people talking about the game. You want people talking about the event. You want people talking about the history of our university. And it's great on the Hall of Fame breakfast on Saturday mornings, and you see. Yeah. I certainly enjoy it when UMC it, and you got these people that these former athletes that come back, and you get to hear their story and how much they meant to them at UT Martin and it's just
and then I'm gonna let you talk about one of the guys that's going in this year, and that's Colonel Kaler.
Man, that is I was visiting with Colonel today, and I was thinking about it. When I first took the job here, December 21st, 2005, Colonel was out sick, and I can't remember, he had it was a health issue, and so he wasn't here that day. But you obviously heard, you'll get to meet Colonel, you'll meet the Colonel, you'll meet the Colonel, and that's one of the highlights of my day is when Colonel and Butch and Jerry Carpenter are around, they're telling stories and fussing with each other and stuff, and it's just, those are great fond memories of me. And every year I always give Colonel a hat, a different Skyhawk hat to wear and stuff, and for years he would break out the old blue ones from 2006 years, just some hats I had made up, and coaches' hats, and he would wear the baby blue hat, or the royal blue hat.
Oh, yeah, so, which is the wrong color.
Yeah, the wrong color now. Yeah. We're Navy. So so since 07 on, whenever it was a big game, he'd break out the old, the blue hat, and I'd say, Colonel, we need that hat now. And he wore it for the SEMO game, and we lost. So I think he retired and went
because on home games he's down there on the sideline with you guys.
Yeah. He used to remember when Rowan Thomas was here. Remember we run those reverses and stuff, and every once in a while I look to my right, get ready to call a play, and you got Colonel standing beside you, and he'll say, "You got one of those reverses ready?" and a lot of times he was right.
Colonel took a shot. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
I can't remember. He had to jump up on the sideline, so hopefully he's careful over there.
Have you ever gotten hit on the sideline?
No, I started backing up. Yeah. It's rolled in my feet before, but I try to stay out of the way. But you're right, it can get you. But going back to Colonel, I mean, he's kind of a institution here, and all former players all the way back.
Oh, everybody.
Everybody knows him, thinks the world of him, and we used to kid with him that when we have a chance to win the conference and the Cardinals win the World Series, that's the highlight of the great year.
He definitely bleeds blue and orange, and he's got a Murray State background if you go far enough back.
Oh, I know it. I know it. I've heard those stories and stuff, but think the world of him and Miss Shirley.
Let's look at the scores from the Ohio Valley Conference from this past weekend. And Coach, I'll be honest, I don't know if you were surprised or not, but I was certainly a little bit surprised at some of these scores. Let's start with Eastern Illinois winning at Southeast Missouri 52-13. As good as Southeast Missouri started off the season, they're now 2-2 in the OVC, 4-4 overall, but that score wasn't even close.
Yeah, guys, Eastern Illinois is a real deal on offense. They really are good, and the quarterback from Kentucky to transfer. I mean, this week was my first time to see him on tape against Austin Peay, and the quarterback must have 200 yards rushing against them. They're really good. We play them the last game of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't lose another game until we play them. I think they're that good on offense. Who's the next one there?
Yeah, let's do a Tennessee Tech at Eastern Kentucky. Again, this one, no surprise. Eastern Kentucky is at home in this one, but they win 39-31. And for Eastern Kentucky, it was their first loss of the season.
It's 31-10. Eastern Kentucky's coming off a bye week. Tennessee Tech's coming off a loss to us last week. They're down 31-10 going in the fourth quarter, and they give up 29 points in the fourth quarter, and Tennessee Tech gets the win. And so, matter of fact, Tennessee Tech this week had all three. The offensive player of the week, the defensive player of the week, and the special teams player of the week off of the production in that game, and most of it was from the fourth quarter production. So crazy things. You would say that all three underdogs won this week: the Austin Peay, us, and Tennessee Tech.
Yeah.
With the three teams that would not have been favored in their games.
Before we talk about the Austin Peay Murray State game, because you're going to play Austin Peay.
Yeah.
when you look at the OVC as a whole, and we had 4 teams ranked in the top 25 at one point, people were saying this might be one of the stronger years for the OVC. Now everybody's just beating up on each other.
Yeah.
What do you think about it
Yeah,
all?
the league's as good or better than it was last year. This week kind of messed it up a little bit as far as maybe getting 3 teams in the playoffs. Let some things happen nationally to where some other guys get some losses. But if we hadn't got off such a bad start, you could be looking at the third team being 5-3 like last year,
Right.
getting in the playoffs. And so, I don't know now that if Eastern Illinois runs the table, can get to. I don't know if they play who misses TSU this year. Somebody won't have TSU on it, but if they can get to their 6-1, maybe they're that third team. I'm not quite sure.
Because you expect if Jacksonville State and Eastern Kentucky
Right.
can hold on. But I just don't see where we thought there was such a separation between the teams at the top and the ones that, really, and I know anybody can beat anybody on a given day, but it just seems to really be the case this year.
No, it is, and when you see Austin Peay beat Murray,
Right.
and I know Murray's sitting there at 1-3, but they lost to Tech in overtime, and then they lost this week, and I'm sure they're looking at saying we should be 3-1 in the conference at this point. So and that leads me into to Austin Peay. They are 180 degrees better than they were last year. I went back and watched the game from last year, and we handled them pretty well, and they are tremendously better. Now I know the record doesn't show it, but you turn on the Murray State game from this week, and you'll be a believer.
Austin Peay got that win over Murray State, 20-13. Let's specifically talk about them. I know you got to get out of here and go to practice, but what does Austin Peay bring that makes them better than they were a season ago?
They've got the defensive tackle Goins back, number 6. He's about 6'2", 300 pounds, and he's a NFL prospect. He's a good player. He really is, and he was hurt all last year. They've got 3 or 4 seniors back, on their defense from last year, and they've added some other players. I don't know if they're junior college or transfers. I'm not sure about that yet. But their team speeds, they're bigger, and their team speed is tremendously better than last year. They are playing with a freshman quarterback and a freshman wideout, but they had 3 touchdown catches this week against Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Their new stadium, by the way, is really nice. Seeing it on tape, they ought to be very proud of that. You're going to see their recruiting pick up because of that. And you saw them play against Murray, and there was a belief. Their head coach, Kirby Cannon's done a good job with that. They were really starving to get that win. I heard Chris Hatcher comment on there. He said, I saw it in practice during the week. I saw our guys not prepared to play. I saw us come out here and make some selfish penalties. I saw us turn the ball over 5 times, get stopped on a fourth and goal at the 1-yard line. He said we don't deserve to win the game. He said now, even with all that being said and done, we still had a chance to win the game and didn't do it. He goes, but we got what we deserve. The best thing that happened for us is that Austin Peay won the game this week.
That's it. Why?
Well, because we'll make sure that we're ready to play.
Relax.
We don't want to be Murray State. That's their first win.
Yeah.
And I forget how many tries.
Right. And it was the Austin Peay had the nation's longest FCS losing streak, 18 games. And what's amazing when you look at what they've done statistically, they're only averaging 8.6 points per game.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot. And when you look at their beginning of the season at Memphis, Chattanooga, at Eastern Illinois, at Illinois State, and at Eastern Kentucky, they did not score more than 7 points in any of those games. But against Mercer and Murray State, they're scoring some points now.
Their schedule's ridiculously hard. That top of that schedule is not where you want to be. I thought ours was hard, but we had Cumberland stuck in there. They did not. But they played better the last several weeks. Got the big win this week. It's kind of like us against Tennessee State, right? You go through. We're coming off that Jacksonville State win. Our loss, and then are we that much better in the last 2 weeks than we were a month ago? No, probably not. But things start going your way a little bit. The ball bounces your way. You start feeling maybe a little bit better than what you really are, and you start playing with some confidence. And that's what I saw them doing against Murray.
We kind of talked about that earlier. That I felt that all the breaks that could go either way seemed to be going the other way, and now we're getting some of those breaks.
No, we are. No, let's face it, we are. And you'd like to think those things start balancing out a little bit. We certainly needed a bunch to go our way after the first couple of losses. But, you just saw remember how I told you earlier when we played SEMO that you could see the energy on the sideline and the belief coming? Mm-hmm. I saw that from Austin Peay in their win over Murray. And, Murray didn't wake up before it was too late, and we've got to make sure we're ready to play.
Also, one other note, not only is it homecoming, but this is part of the Sergeant York Trophy Showcase,
Yeah.
which is big because we got the win over Tennessee Tech and at Tennessee State, so you kind of hold it in your hand.
No, and you know what I'm excited about? And there's some statistics. I don't know if Ron can tell me what they are, but I think over X amount of years, we've won the most games in that series. But the problem with that is the way the rules are set up, that the Sergeant York Trophy only goes to, we would go 2-1 and tie with Tennessee State, but they would have had won it the year before through head-to-head, and they would get to keep the trophy
Right.
because it goes to the previous winner from the year before. So we would say we held a piece of it, but we've only had that trophy in our
Here
building
one
one time.
Yeah.
So we win this week. That'd be 3-0. In the state of Tennessee, something to be proud of. We talked about having to adjust our goals, but this is something we want to accomplish, and I'm excited about it. Our players better make sure they are.
I'm fired up, Coach. Thank you, and we'll talk to you Saturday, and we'll have you on our pregame show, and we'll see you at all the homecoming activities.
Looking forward to it.
Coach Jason Simpson, we'll come back with more. Again, Austin Peay, the opponent, and that is Saturday at 2 o'clock. We'll go on the air at 1 o'clock with Squawk Talk and John Hattler, 1:30 our pregame show, and then the kickoff is at 2. More coming up on the UT Martin Skyhawk Sports Network.